Dr. Minho Park stared at the empty supply room and felt his stomach drop. 3 weeks late. The medical supplies from the Galactic Health Consortium were 3 weeks late, and no one would tell him why. He walked through the corridors of the colony, ship New Busan. The ship was home to 50,000 humans traveling to their new world. Most of them were families with children. Many were elderly. All of them needed medicine that should have been delivered weeks ago. "Dr. Park?" A voice called behind him. He turned to see Dr. Soyeon Kim walking toward him. She looked tired. Dark. Circles under her eyes showed she had not slept well in days. "Any word from the consortium?" Minho asked. Soyeon shook her head. "Nothing. I sent 12 messages. No replies. It's like they forgot we exist." Minho and Soyeon had worked together for 5 years. They had never seen anything like this before. The Galactic Health Consortium always delivered medical supplies on time. They were the most reliable organization in known space. Everyone said, "So, what about the other ships?" Minho asked. "The other human colonies?" "That's what worries me," Soyeon said. She pulled out her data pad. "I talked to Dr. Williams on the Terra Nova. Same problem. No supplies, no messages, no explanations. And Dr. Petrov on the Moscow said they've been waiting for 6 weeks. Minho felt cold. This was not normal. This was not an accident. They walked to the medical bay. Inside, nurses were counting pills and checking equipment. Everything was running low. The machine that made oxygen for people with lung problems was making strange noises. They needed new parts, but the parts should have come with the supply shipment. "Dr. Park," said Nurse Jamin, "Mrs. Chen's daughter needs her heart medicine. We only have 3 days left." Minho closed his eyes. The little girl was 8 years old. Without her medicine, her heart would stop working. There had to be more. Medicine somewhere. "Check the emergency storage," he told Jamin. Maybe we missed something, but they both knew the truth. They had already checked everywhere twice. Later that day, Minho received a message from Junho Lee. Junho worked as a diplomatic envoy between humans and other alien species. His job was to solve problems when different species could not agree on things. "Minho," Junho's voice came through the communicator. "I got your message about the medical supplies. I tried to contact the consortium. They said they would look into it, but something feels wrong." "What do you mean?" Minho asked. "I've been to their offices before. Usually they are very helpful. Very polite. This time they barely wanted to talk to me. The secretary said all human medical requests were being reviewed. When I asked what that meant, they said they could not give me more information." Minho sat down. His hands were shaking. "Junho, we have people who will die without medicine, children, old people. We cannot wait for a review." "I know," Junho said. "I'm trying everything I can. But they won't tell me anything else." That night, Minho could not sleep. He kept thinking about the little girl who needed heart medicine, about the old man with diabetes who needed insulin, about all the people counting on him to keep them alive. He decided to call his friend Nari. Choi Nari was a trauma surgeon on Haven 7, a human colony world on the edge of known space. If anyone would know what was happening, it would be her. The call took several minutes to connect. Space was big, and messages traveled slowly. "Minho?" Nari's face appeared on the screen. She looked worse than Soyeon. Much worse. "Nari, what's happening out there? We can't get medical supplies. No one will talk to us." Nari's face was grim. "It's bad, Minho. Really bad. We haven't received supplies in 2 months. People are dying from things that should be easy to cure. Simple infections. Broken bones that won't heal right because we don't have the right equipment." "But why? What happened?" "I don't know," Nari said. "But it's not just supplies. 3 days ago, I took a patient to the Zephyrian Medical Center. They've always treated humans before. This time, they said they could not help us. They said human biology was incompatible with their equipment." Minho felt his heart skip. "Incompatible? That's impossible. We've been using their equipment for 20 years. That's what I said, but they would not change their minds. My patient died on the way back to our clinic. She could have been saved." "Did they give you a reason?" "They said human medical needs were too complicated. Too dangerous for their staff to handle. They recommended we find human doctors instead. Minho stared at the screen. This made no sense. Human biology was not that different from most alien species. Zephyrian doctors had trained with human doctors. They had saved thousands of human lives. Nari, I think something is very wrong here. I know, she said. I've been asking questions, quietly, and I found out something strange. What? The Zephyrians are not the only ones. The Altarians stopped treating humans last month. The Kepler Medical Group canceled all their contracts with human colonies. Even the Andromedans, who have always been our friends, are saying they cannot help us anymore. Minho felt like the room was spinning. This was not random. This was planned. Someone is telling them to stop helping us, he said. That's what I think too, Nari agreed. But I cannot prove it, and I cannot figure out why. After the call ended, Minho sat in the dark for a long time. He thought about all the patients he had treated, over the years, humans, Zephyrians, Altarians, and dozens of other species. Medicine was supposed to be universal. When someone was hurt or sick, you helped them. It did not matter what species they were from. But now, it seemed like the rules had changed. Only for humans. The next morning brought more bad news. Dr. Soyan found Minho in his office. She was holding a data pad and her hands were shaking. I got a message from my friend on Kepler Station, she said. Dr. Martinez. He tried to bring a human patient to the alien hospital there. They would not even let him through the door. What reason did they give? No reason. Just that they were not equipped to handle human patients anymore. But Minho, that hospital has a whole wing designed for human anatomy. They built it 5 years ago. Minho stood up and walked to the window. Outside, space looked cold and empty. Somewhere out there, other human colonies were facing the same problems. People were dying because they could not get help. Soyon, he said, I think we need to accept something terrible. What? This is not an accident, this is not a mistake. Someone wants us to suffer. Someone wants us to die. Soyon was quiet for a long moment. Then she nodded. What do we do? Minho looked at her. In her eyes, he saw the same determination he felt. They were doctors. Their job was to save lives. If the galaxy would not help them, they would have to find another way. We figure out who is doing this, he said, and we find a way to stop them. Outside the window, the stars seemed to flicker like they were sending a message. But Minho could not read it yet. He only knew that somewhere in the darkness, someone had decided that human lives did not matter. That was their first mistake. Taehyun Kang sat in his small office aboard the intelligence ship Silent Watch. The room was dark except for the glow from multiple computer screens. For 3 days, he had been listening to alien communications, trying to understand why humans could not get medical help anymore. What he found made his blood turn cold. Taehyun was good at his job. He spoke 7 alien languages and understood how different species thought. He had spent years learning their cultures, their fears, their secrets. But this was bigger than anything he had seen before. On his main screen was a recorded conversation between 2 Galactic Council members. The audio was in Zephyrian, but Taehyun understood every word. The human problem is getting worse, said the first voice. Our medical teams are asking too many questions. Have you explained the situation to them? Asked the second voice. We told them humans are medically unstable, that treating them could be dangerous for our staff. Most of our doctors believe it now. Good. What about the research data? All human medical files have been moved to secure storage. The Council's science team is still studying them. They say human healing abilities are unusual. Taehyun stopped the recording and rubbed his eyes. Healing abilities? What did that mean? He opened another file. This one was a medical report, written by a Kepler scientist. The language was complicated, but the meaning was clear. Humans could survive injuries that would kill most alien species. Humans could fight off diseases that had no cure for other races. Human immune systems were stronger than anything the aliens had ever seen. The report called humans biologically superior in terms of medical resilience. Taehyun felt sick. The aliens were not trying to protect themselves from humans. They were afraid of what humans could do. He sent an emergency message to Dr. Hyejin Song on the research station Darwin's Dream. Hyejin was a xenobiologist who studied how different species lived and evolved. If anyone could understand this medical data, it would be her. The next day, Hyejin called him back. Her face on the screen looked shocked and angry. "Taehyun, where did you get this information?" she asked. "I cannot tell you that. But is it true? Are humans really that different?" Hyejin nodded slowly. "I have been studying human biology for 10 years. Compared to most alien species, humans are incredibly tough. We heal faster, live longer, and survive things that would kill others. But I never thought it was a problem. According to these files, the aliens have been studying us for decades," Taehyun said. "They have been trying to copy our immune systems and healing abilities." "That makes sense," Hyejin said. "Human medicine works better than alien medicine for most diseases. Our doctors often treat alien patients because we get better results. But they failed to copy our abilities," Taehyun continued. "And now they are scared." Hyejin was quiet for a moment. Then she said something that made Taehyun's heart stop. "Taehyun, if they cannot have our medical abilities, they might try to make sure no one else can benefit from them either." "What do you mean?" "Think about it. If humans can survive diseases that kill other species, and if human doctors can cure things that alien doctors cannot, then humans become very valuable. Too valuable. Other species might start depending on us instead of their own governments." Taehyun understood now. This was not about medicine. This was about power. He spent the next 2 days gathering more evidence. What he found was worse than he had imagined. The Galactic Council had created a secret committee called the Biological Security Division. Their job was to study species that might threaten the balance of power in the galaxy. Humans were at the top of their list. The committee had decided that human medical influence was spreading too fast. Human doctors were working on alien worlds. Human medicines were being used in alien hospitals. Human medical techniques were being taught in alien schools. The aliens were losing control of their own healthcare systems, so they made a plan. First, they would cut off all medical aid to humans. Then they would spread rumors that humans were medically dangerous. Finally, they would quarantine all human worlds, claiming it was for galactic safety. The plan had a name: Operation Clean Slate. Taehyun immediately sent this information to Captain Woojin Nam, who commanded the medical frigate Soul's Pride. Woojin was known throughout human space as someone who could get things done, even when the situation seemed impossible. "Captain Nam," Taehyun said when Woojin answered his call, "I have information you need to see, but you are not going to like it." Woojin looked at the files for a long time without speaking. His face grew darker with each page. "How long do we have?" Woojin finally asked. "According to the timeline in these documents, the full quarantine begins in 6 weeks, Taehyun said. "After that, no ships will be allowed to enter or leave human space. Anyone who tries will be considered an enemy of the Galactic Council." 6 weeks, Woojin repeated. 6 weeks before they lock us away and let us die. "There is more," Taehyun said. "The aliens have been testing human medical data on themselves. They want to understand why we heal so well. But their experiments are failing. Human biology is too different from theirs. So they cannot become like us. And they do not want us helping anyone else." "Exactly." Woojin stood up and walked to his window. Outside, space looked peaceful, but both men knew that peace was about to end. "Captain," Taehyun said, "there is something else, something that might give us hope." "What?" "The alien medical teams do not all agree with this plan. Many alien doctors became doctors because they want to help people. They do not like being told to let humans die." "How many?" "I do not know exactly. But the communications I intercepted suggest that some alien medical facilities are questioning their orders. A few have even asked for permission to continue treating human patients." "And?" "They were told no." Very firmly. Woojin turned back to face the screen. Taehyun, I need you to keep monitoring these communications. Find out everything you can about Operation Clean Slate. Names, dates, locations, everything. What are you going to do? I am going to call every human doctor, nurse, and medical worker in the galaxy. If the aliens want to cut us off from medical care, then we need to take care of ourselves. And if they try to stop us? Woojin smiled, but it was not a happy smile. Then they will learn something about human medical abilities that is not in their files. What is that? We do not just heal fast. We also fight hard when someone threatens our patients. After the call ended, Taehyun continued working through the night. Every new file he found made the situation clearer and more frightening. The aliens had been planning this for years. They had studied human strengths and decided those strengths were too dangerous to allow. They were willing to let millions of humans die rather than risk losing their position as the galaxy's medical authorities. But they had made one mistake. They assumed humans would quietly accept their fate. Taehyun smiled as he typed his report. The aliens had studied human biology very carefully, but they had not studied human nature. They were about to learn the difference. In 6 weeks, the galaxy would discover what happened when you tried to stop humans from saving lives. The aliens thought they were protecting themselves from human medical abilities. They had no idea what human medical determination could do. Jiwan Yang crouched behind a stack of supply crates on the abandoned mining station. Her heart was beating fast, but her hands were steady. She had done this many times before. The alien patrol ship would pass by in 10 minutes. That gave her just enough time to finish hiding the medical supplies. How many more boxes? Whispered her partner Dongsik. 12, Jiwan replied. We can make it. 6 months ago, Jiwan had been a military medic on the human battleship Incheon. Now she was something the aliens would call a criminal. She was part of an underground network that smuggled medical supplies to human colonies. The network had started small. Just a few doctors and nurses who refused to let their patients die. But word spread quickly through human space. Soon, hundreds of medical workers were helping. They called themselves the Silent Healers. Jiwan moved the last box into the hidden storage room. Inside the room were enough medical supplies to keep a small colony alive for 3 months. Bandages, medicines, surgical tools, and the machines that helped people breathe. Everything the Galactic Health Consortium had stopped sending to humans. Patrol ship coming, Dongsik warned. 2 minutes out. They closed the hidden door and made their way to their ship. The Ghost Mercy looked like an old cargo hauler, but it was much faster than it appeared. Jiwan had made sure of that. As they lifted off, Jiwan watched the alien patrol ship pass below them. The aliens were looking for smugglers, but they never expected medical supplies to be the contraband. They were searching for weapons and illegal technology, not heart medicine and insulin. Next stop? Dongsik asked. Haven 7, Jiwan said. Dr. Nari needs supplies for the new refugee camp. While Jiwan was flying through space, Sunho Bai was working in his secret laboratory on New Seoul Station. Sunho used to make medicines for the Galactic Pharmaceutical Company. Now he was making them for humans who could not get them anywhere else. The problem was that alien medicines did not always work well for humans. Human biology was different enough that some alien drugs could make people sick instead of better. So Sunho had to change the formulas. He was working on a heart medicine for children. The alien version was too strong for human children and could damage their kidneys. Sunho had been testing different formulas for weeks, trying to find the right balance. Try sample number 47, he told his assistant, Mira. Mira ran the tests on their computer simulation. The results appeared on the screen a few minutes later. Perfect, she said. This one works without side effects. Sunho smiled. Another medicine that could save human lives. He added the formula to his encrypted database. Soon, human doctors across the galaxy would be able to make this medicine themselves, but making medicine was only half the problem. Getting it to the people who needed it was much harder. Dr. Yoonji Lim had solved that problem by creating a fleet of medical ships. Her ships looked like normal cargo vessels, but they were really floating hospitals. Each ship had operating rooms, laboratories, and living space for 50 patients. Medical ship Mercy 1 to base, came a voice over Yunji's communicator. We are approaching the Kepler 442 system. Alien patrol ships are everywhere. How many ships? Yunji asked. 6 patrol boats and 1 destroyer. They are checking every vessel that enters the system. Yunji looked at her star charts. Kepler 442 had 3 human colonies with a total population of 2 million people. Those people had not received medical supplies in 4 months. Children were dying from diseases that should have been easy to cure. Medical ship Mercy 2. What is your position? She asked. We are in the asteroid field. 2 hours from Kepler 442b, came the reply. Ready to make the supply run. Good. Wait for my signal. Mercy 1. Continue your approach. Act like a normal cargo ship. This was how the network operated. One ship would distract the alien patrols, while others snuck through to deliver supplies. It was dangerous, but it worked. On the surface of Kepler 442b, people were waiting. They had been told that a supply ship was coming, but they had learned not to get their hopes too high. Many promised deliveries had failed when alien patrols intercepted the ships. But this time was different. At the same time, Kyungmin Ro was sitting in his apartment on Earth Station, typing rapidly on his computer. Kyungmin was a cybersecurity specialist, but now he used his skills to help the medical network. He hacked into alien computer systems to steal information that could save human lives. Tonight, he was breaking into the Zephyrian medical database. The Zephyrians had been treating human patients for 20 years. Their files contained treatment information for thousands of human medical conditions. Come on, Kyungmin whispered as his programs worked to break through the alien security systems. Just a little more. The security was strong, but Kyungmin was better. He had been studying alien computer systems for months, learning their weaknesses. Finally, his program broke through. Got it, he said. Thousands of medical files began copying to his computer. Treatment protocols, surgery techniques, drug formulas, and patient histories. Information that human doctors desperately needed but could no longer access through legal channels. Kyungmin's computer chimed. Someone was trying to trace his hack back to its source. He quickly activated his counter programs and erased his digital footprints. Within seconds, he had vanished from the alien network like he had never been there. The next morning, human doctors across the galaxy found new medical information in their secure message boxes. They did not know who had sent it, and they did not ask. They just used it to save lives. The network was growing every day. What had started as a few desperate doctors had become an organized resistance movement. They had supply ships, hidden laboratories, communication networks, and cyber warfare specialists. But they also had enemies. Dr. Yunji received an urgent message while she was planning the next supply run. The message was from Captain Woojin Nam, aboard the Soul's Pride. Yunji, I have bad news, Woojin's voice said through her communicator. The aliens know about our network. They are calling us medical terrorists and have put bounties on our heads. How much? Yunji asked. 1 million credits for information leading to the capture of any network leader. 5 million for information about our supply routes. Yunji was quiet for a moment. 1 million credits was enough money to make most people rich for life. Some humans might be tempted to betray the network. There is more, Woojin continued. They are not just offering money. They are threatening to cut off all medical aid to any alien species that helps us. Some of our alien allies are getting scared. This was bad news. The network had been getting help from some alien doctors who disagreed with their government's policies. These alien allies had been providing safe places to hide supplies and information about patrol routes. What do we do? Yunji asked. We keep going, Woojin said. But we have to be more careful. The aliens are getting desperate. Desperate people do dangerous things. That night, Jiwan Yang received a priority message on her ship. Emergency medical supplies were needed on Colony, World Prometheus. A disease outbreak was killing children and the local doctors had run out of medicine. Jiwan looked at her star charts. Prometheus was deep in alien-controlled space. Getting there would be extremely dangerous. The alien patrols would be expecting smugglers to try to reach the colony, but children were dying. Dongsik, she called to her partner. Plot a course. For Prometheus. Maximum stealth. That is suicide, Dongsik said. The aliens have tripled their patrols in that sector. Children are dying, Jiwon repeated. We are going. Dongsik looked at her for a long moment, then nodded. Course plotted. ETA 18 hours. As the Ghost Mercy jumped into hyperspace, Jiwon thought about how much things had changed. 6 months ago, she had been following military orders and treating wounded soldiers. Now she was breaking laws and risking her life to deliver medicine to sick children. But she had never felt more proud of her work. The aliens had tried to cut humans off from medical care. Instead, they had created something they never expected. An underground network of humans who refused to let anyone die if they could prevent it. The silent healers were no longer silent, and they were no longer hiding. Soon, the aliens would learn what happened when you tried to stop humans from doing what they believed was right. Field medic Seung-woo-oh knelt beside the injured woman on Kepler 442b. Blood covered her clothes and her breathing was shallow. The bombing had happened 3 hours ago, but Seung-woo was the first medical help to arrive. Stay with me, he whispered to the woman as he worked. You are going to be fine. Around him, the ruins of what had been a human medical clinic still smoked. Alien warships had appeared in the sky without warning and destroyed the building with precise missile strikes. 17 people had been inside. Only 5 survived. Seung-woo had been treating patients in the next building when the attack happened. He ran toward the explosion instead of away from it. That was what medics did. Medic, oh, called his assistant Youngmin. We have alien soldiers approaching from the east. Seung-woo looked up. 6 armed aliens in battle armor were walking toward them. Their weapons were raised and ready to fire. Keep working, Seung-woo told Youngmin. Do not stop until I tell you. The alien soldiers stopped 10 meters away. Their leader, a tall Zephyrian with silver skin, spoke in accented English. Human, medic, you are under arrest for violating galactic health security laws. I am treating injured people, Seung-woo replied without looking up from his patient. That is not a crime. You are providing unauthorized medical care to civilians in a quarantine zone. This is a serious offense. Seung-woo finished bandaging the woman's wounds and gently moved her to a stretcher. Only then did he stand and face the alien soldiers. If treating sick people is a crime, he said, then I am guilty. The aliens placed energy shackles on his wrists and led him to their transport ship. As they flew away, Seung-woo could see other human medics still working in the rubble below. The bombing had not stopped them. Nothing would stop them. 2 weeks later, Seung-woo found himself standing in a courtroom on the Galactic Council's central station. The room was filled with alien officials, reporters, and observers from dozens of species. This was the first trial of its kind. The prosecutor was a Kepler magistrate named Veltar. He stood before the court and spoke in a voice that echoed through the chamber. Citizens of the galaxy, Veltar began, we are here today because of a threat to our security. The defendant, Seung-woo-oh, is a human who has been spreading dangerous medical practices throughout our peaceful worlds. Seung-woo sat quietly and listened. The charges against him were serious. Biological terrorism, unauthorized medical intervention, contamination of alien populations with human medical techniques. Humans claim to be healers, Veltar continued, but their so-called medicine is destroying the natural balance of our healthcare systems. Human medical practices are too aggressive, too risky, too different from our proven methods. The prosecutor displayed images on a large screen, pictures of human doctors treating alien patients, charts showing how human medicines worked differently than alien ones, statistics about alien patients who had been helped by human doctors. Look at these numbers, Veltar said. Wherever humans practice medicine, alien medical facilities lose patients. Alien doctors lose work. Our traditional healing methods are being replaced by human techniques that we do not understand and cannot control. Seung-woo wanted to stand up and shout. The statistics showed that human medicine was helping people. Alien patients were getting better faster when treated by human doctors. Diseases that had no alien cure were being healed by human treatments. But the prosecutor made it sound like this was a bad thing. The defendant will claim he was saving lives, Veltar continued. But at what cost? Human medical influence is spreading like a virus through our civilization. If we do not stop it now, our children will grow up in a galaxy where alien medicine is considered inferior to human medicine. That was the truth. That was what the aliens really feared. Not that human medicine was dangerous, but that it was better. The trial lasted 3 days. Witness after witness testified about the dangers of human medical practices. None of them mentioned the lives that had been saved. On the final day, they allowed Xiongwu to speak. He stood up slowly and looked around the courtroom. Hundreds of alien faces stared back at him. Some looked curious. Others looked afraid. Few looked angry. "My name is Xiongwu O," he began. "I am a medic. For 15 years I have treated injured and sick people, humans, Zephyrians, Keplers, Altarians, and many other species. I have never asked what species a patient was before treating them. I have only asked what they needed to survive." He paused and looked directly at the prosecutor. "You say I am a terrorist? You say human medicine is dangerous, but I have never hurt anyone. I have only tried to heal." Xiongwu pulled out a datapad from his pocket. On it were pictures and medical records from his career. "This is Zara, a Kepler child who was dying from blood poisoning. Alien doctors said there was no cure. I treated her with human antibiotics. She lived. She is now studying to become a doctor herself." He showed another picture. "This is Commander Velkoth of the Altarian Defense Force. He was injured in a shuttle crash. Alien surgeons said his spine was too damaged to repair. I performed surgery using human techniques." He walked again. More pictures, more stories. Lives saved by human medicine when alien medicine had failed. "You want to know why human medical practices are spreading?" Xiongwu asked. "Because they work. Because when someone is dying, they do not care if the cure comes from a human doctor or an alien doctor. They just want to live." The courtroom was silent. "You say we are contaminating your medical systems. But medicine is not about systems. It is about people. Sick people who need help. Injured people who need healing. Children who need to grow up healthy." Xiongwu put away his datapad and looked around the room one more time. "I am not sorry for saving lives. I am not sorry for teaching other doctors new ways to heal. I am not sorry for being human." He sat down. The courtroom remained quiet for a long moment. The judges discussed the case for 2 hours. When they returned, their decision was unanimous. "Xiongwu." "Oh," said the chief judge, "you are found guilty of all charges. The sentence is 20 years in prison and permanent exile from all non-human worlds." As the guards led him away, Xiongwu saw something that gave him hope. In the audience, several alien doctors were shaking their heads in disagreement. A few were even crying. The aliens could put him in prison, but they could not change what he had proven in that courtroom. Human medicine worked, human doctors saved lives, and more aliens were starting to understand that. Meanwhile, on a dozen different worlds, human medics watched the trial broadcast and felt their anger grow. They had tried to work quietly. They had tried to avoid conflict. They had hoped the aliens would eventually understand. But now they knew the truth. The aliens did not want to understand. They wanted to eliminate human medicine entirely, even if it meant people would die. Dr. Da-Yun Quan was treating patients in a refugee camp on Titan Station when she saw the news about Xiongwu's trial. She was so angry she could barely think straight. They called him a terrorist, she told her assistant Jinho. A terrorist for saving lives. Before Jinho could reply, alarms began sounding throughout the station. Emergency lights flashed red, and automated voices announced an evacuation. "Order." "What is happening?" Da-Hyun asked. "Alien warships," Jinho said, looking at his scanner. 12 of them. They are surrounding the station." Through the window, Da-Hyun could see the sleek shapes of Zephyrian destroyers taking position around Titan Station. Each ship had enough firepower to destroy the entire station. "Attention, human medical personnel," came a voice over the station's communication system. "This facility has been declared a biological hazard zone. You have 30 minutes to evacuate. All human staff and equipment." Da-Hyun looked around the medical bay. 50 patients lay in beds, connected to life support machines. Many were children. All of them would die if moved too quickly. "We need at least 6 hours to safely evacuate these patients," she said into her communicator. "You have 30 minutes," the alien voice repeated. "Any humans remaining after that time will be considered hostile and dealt with accordingly." Dayun realized they were not talking about evacuation. They were talking about another bombing. She ran to the window and watched as news reporters from across the galaxy arrived to record what would happen next. This was not just an attack on a medical facility. This was a message being sent to every human doctor in the galaxy. Stop helping people, or we will destroy you. But as Dayun looked at the patients in her care, she knew what her answer would be. The same answer Seungwoo had given in the courtroom. The same answer every human medic would give. We will not stop saving lives even if it kills us. Admiral Changmin Lee stood on the bridge of the battleship Hippocrates and watched the alien fleet gather in front of them. 50 Zephyrian warships formed a blockade around the Altarian homeworld. Their message was clear. No human medical ships allowed. But Changmin was not asking for permission anymore. "All ships, this is Admiral Lee." He spoke into his communicator. "The people of Altair Prime are dying from a plague that their doctors cannot cure. We have the medicine they need. We are going through that blockade." Behind him stretched the largest human medical fleet ever assembled. 200 ships of all sizes, from massive hospital ships to small emergency craft. Each one carried doctors, nurses, medical supplies, and something the aliens had not expected: weapons. The Human Medical Corps was no longer just a rescue organization. It was an army with a simple mission: deliver medical aid to anyone who needed it, anywhere in the galaxy, regardless of what their government said. "Zephyrian Fleet, this is Admiral Lee of the Human Medical Corps." Changmin broadcast on all frequencies. "We are carrying medical supplies for the plague victims on Altair Prime. You will stand down and allow us to pass." The reply came quickly. "Human ships, you are in violation of galactic health security protocols. Turn back immediately or face military action." Changmin smiled coldly. "Zephyrian Fleet, you have 5 minutes to move out of our way. After that, we will move you ourselves." On the planet below, millions of Altarians were dying from a disease that attacked their nervous systems. Their own doctors had tried everything, but nothing worked. The plague had been spreading for 6 months, killing thousands every day. 3 weeks ago, human scientists had developed a cure. The Altarian government had requested the medicine through official channels. The Galactic Council had denied the request, claiming that human medicines were too dangerous for alien use. So the humans had decided to deliver it anyway. "Admiral," said Captain Myung-jung from the medical cruiser Soul Hope, "the Altarians are broadcasting on emergency frequencies. They are begging us not to leave. Their hospitals are overflowing." "We are not leaving," Changmin replied. "Prepare for combat." The battle was brief but decisive. The human ships had been designed for rescue work, but they had been modified with weapons over the past year. More importantly, they were crewed by people who refused to let anyone die if they could prevent it. When someone is fighting to save lives, they fight harder than someone who is just following orders. The Zephyrian blockade broke after 20 minutes. Half their ships were destroyed or disabled. The rest retreated to a safe distance and watched as human medical ships landed on Altair Prime. Within hours, human doctors were working in Altarian hospitals. The cure they brought stopped the plague in its tracks. Within days, the death toll dropped to 0. But the real victory was not the battle. It was what happened next. Altarian news broadcasts showed human doctors working alongside Altarian medical staff. The images spread throughout the galaxy faster than any government could stop them. Other alien species watched as humans risked their lives to save Altarian civilians. Dr. Donghyun Kim was one of the first human doctors to land on Altair Prime. He had volunteered for the mission knowing he might not survive. But as he worked in the crowded hospital treating patient after patient, he realized something important. The alien patients did not care that he was human. They did not care about galactic health security protocols or biological contamination warnings. They just cared that he was helping them breathe again. "Doctor," said an Altarian nurse named Kethara, "the medicine you brought, it works better than anything we have ever seen." "Human medicine is not better than alien medicine," Dongyun replied as he prepared another injection. "Good medicine is good medicine, no matter who makes it." But Kethara shook her head. "No, doctor. This is different. Human medicine does not just treat symptoms. It helps the body heal itself. Our medicines have never done that." Dongyun paused in his work. He had heard similar comments from alien patients before, but he had never thought much about them. Now, he began to understand what made human medicine special. Humans had evolved on a dangerous world. They had faced diseases, injuries, and environmental challenges that would have killed most alien species. So human bodies had learned to heal quickly and fight off almost anything. Human medicine was not about replacing the body's natural healing. It was about helping that healing work better and faster. "Kethara," Dongyun said, "would you like to learn how to make this medicine?" The nurse's eyes widened. "You would teach me?" "Medicine should not belong to one species. If you can learn to help people, then I will teach you everything I know." Similar conversations were happening in hospitals across Altair Prime. Human doctors were not just treating patients. They were teaching alien medical staff new techniques, sharing their knowledge, and working together to save lives. The Galactic Council watched these broadcasts with growing alarm. Their worst fears were coming true. Alien populations were beginning to prefer human medical care over their own government-provided health care. But it was too late to stop what they had started. On Kepler Station, alien doctors who had been forced to refuse human patients began speaking out. Dr. Velnara, a respected Kepler surgeon, held a press conference that shocked the galaxy. "I have been a doctor for 30 years, she said to the assembled reporters. "I became a doctor to save lives, but my government has ordered me to let humans die rather than treat them. This is not medicine. This is murder." She held up a data pad containing medical records. "These are human patients I was forced to turn away. Children with treatable illnesses. Elderly people who needed simple surgeries. All of them died because I was not allowed to help them." Dr. Velnara looked directly into the camera. "The Galactic Council says human medicine is dangerous. But the only dangerous thing I see is a government that puts politics before patient care." Her speech was broadcast across the galaxy. Within days, similar statements came from alien doctors on dozens of worlds. The medical community was turning against its own governments. The final confrontation came when Ambassador Soman Lee stood before the Galactic Council to deliver humanity's ultimatum. The council chamber was packed with representatives from hundreds of species. News cameras from across the galaxy recorded every word. "Members of the Galactic Council," Somin began. "For the past year, you have tried to stop humans from providing medical care to those who need it. You have bombed our hospitals, imprisoned our doctors, and threatened our medical workers." She paused and looked around the chamber. "You did this because you were afraid. Afraid that human medicine works better than yours. Afraid that your own people would prefer human doctors. Afraid that you would lose control over your healthcare systems." Murmurs arose from the alien delegates. Some looked angry. Others looked ashamed. "Today I am here to tell you that your fear was justified," Soman continued. "But not for the reasons you think." She activated a holographic display showing star maps and medical statistics. "In the past 6 months, human medical ships have provided aid to 47 worlds. We have treated patients from 32 different species. We have stopped 7 epidemics and saved over 2 million lives." The statistics were undeniable. Human medical intervention had dramatically improved health outcomes wherever it was allowed. "You were afraid we would take over your medical systems," Soman said. "But we do not want to take over anything. We want to share. We want to teach. We want to work together to make sure no one dies from a treatable condition." She turned to face the Council's leadership directly. "So here is humanity's offer. Medical care for all who need it, regardless of species or politics. Free sharing of medical knowledge and techniques. Joint research into diseases that affect multiple species. Cooperation instead of competition." The chamber was silent. And, if you refuse this offer? Asked the Zephyrian council leader. Somin smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. Then we will continue doing what we have been doing. We will go to every world where people are sick or injured. We will provide medical care whether you give us permission or not. We will teach anyone who wants to learn, and we will defend our patients from anyone who tries to stop us. She gestured to the star map behind her. You tried to quarantine us. Instead, you taught us that we cannot depend on others for medical care. So we built our own medical fleet, trained our own doctors, and developed our own medicines. The map showed human medical ships positioned throughout the galaxy. You wanted to contain human medical influence. Instead, you spread it to every corner of known space. Every world that has been helped by human doctors now knows what we can do. Somin walked closer to the council leadership. You forgot something important about humans. We do not give up when people are dying, we do not compromise when lives are at stake, and we do not ask permission to do what is right. She turned to face the cameras. Citizens of the galaxy, humanity offers you a choice. You can have governments that let you die to protect their power, or you can have doctors who will risk everything to keep you alive.